Hello, it's Angel. I am here showing you my garden. It's been a long time, but we have a lot of progress done. We still have a long way to go to be complete, if you can ever really say that your garden is complete. But we have some really exciting things going on, and I'm so excited to show you and talk to you about different random garden thoughts that I have floating around in my head. We have a lot left to do, but we are making progress, that is for sure. Well, I won't waste any more of your time. We'll get right to it. Now this bed here is what we call our perennial bed. So I have some last year onions that came back right here. And then in the middle we have rhubarb, and then there down at the far end is asparagus. Now here we had a lot of different flowers, so I just threw a bunch of different flowers in there. The only thing that I remember is on the edge over here on that side there are milkweed. Not very many of the flowers are looking like they're doing very good. We had a hard rain, so we'll see who survives. I hope that most of them do, but we'll see. Over here at the end of this one, I planted some flowers. Got nasturtiums there in the middle. And then these little purple guys, green and purple guys, I don't know what they are. They were in our started flowers, but they weren't labeled, so we shall see. If you know, please leave a comment in the comments down below. I'm curious. Now I have 5 beds planted of my tomatoes, my heirloom tomatoes, different varieties that I wanted to start. Each bed has 10 plants in it. I think I went through yesterday and there was 2 for sure that I don't think are gonna make it, possibly 3. So we will see. I have a few extra plants. Oh look, can you see them? This is my little mockingbird friend who's been chitter-chattering with me all the time. I believe he's a mockingbird. If you know what he is, let me know. He talks a lot, even at night. So I've got those planted with 10 tomato plants in each one. And then I have in the middle here, I've planted some basil plants. And then around the edges, we've tried to do different flowers. Like here's some nasturtiums coming up. And there were some marigolds growing down the side. Now this one had these onions here from last year. Now I did go through and I tried to plant an onion bulb on either side of each tomato plant, kind of to help with the rabbits getting into there, and also just a place to put the onions. So we will see how that works out. And see how I said I planted these onions? Something has been going around pulling them out. Might be a squirrel, might be the birds, not sure. So I'm just gonna pop this little guy back in the ground. Got one over here. I'm gonna pop this guy back in the ground. If you look here, this is one of my guys that I don't think is gonna make it. So I will have to probably wind up replacing him. But so got some other ones and they're looking good. So far, we haven't had much critter damage. I said so far we don't have much critter damage, but look here at this guy. Something. He's just kind of stripped down. Not sure what that could be. We'll have to investigate this one. Here in this bed, we've got some nasturtium babies popping up. Now I haven't got to plant the basil in the middle. There are some carrots I planted a while back, but the rabbits like to hang out here. Just waiting for the marigolds to pop up and see if that makes them decide they don't want to lay here anymore. This is what I'm talking about. Rabbits like to lay here. And see, there we got something trying to be a critter there in the garden. We have this bed here, which I haven't really decided what I'm going to be doing with this bed, or this bed over here, over there that has the trellis on the back of it. I think I'm going to do kind of maybe melons because they have a lot of space. Maybe some beans. We'll see, we'll figure it out. Still gotta do a little more planning. And then this tree here with all this honeysuckle and stuff, that's gonna get all cleaned out. And then we're finding something to do with all of the tomato cages. The tomato cages that we have up now are all the tomato cages we will be using. Jay, when he plants his, he's gonna do the stake and then single vine them up the stake. So there, he's not using cages. But I'm ready to not have a mess of cages in my backyard or this extra wire. So we are gonna try and find some uses. Maybe we'll have to do the fences to keep the rabbits out. I hope not. Now this bed here is where Jay is going to be planting his paste tomatoes. So we've got a few flowers over here. And then a couple onions right there. See right there? And really exciting, not planted, but look, we got some mushrooms growing. Look at this guy right there. He's pretty cool. This is my new little project. It needs a little more work. I want to level out this mulch that's on the ground a little more because it's kind of a hill. Weed these weeds here and then trim back the honeysuckle and the bushes behind it. But I've got this trellis here and then the kiddie pool, and I have moonflowers planted in there. So hopefully the idea is that I've got my little sit-in space and I can come out in the evening when the moonflowers are blooming and watch the evening pollinators come and play. And then over here we've got some bamboo sticks and some wood that needs to be picked up. But this bed here is where I had my 4 o'clocks last year, which are also evening blooming. And I'll be putting some more 4 o'clock seeds in there this year. Hopefully it seeded itself some. Now over here I have my horseradish. And there's this plant with the white flowers on it that I thought was my horseradish bolting, because I'm still really new at the horseradish game. And it's a totally different plant. If you know what that is, leave a comment in the comments down below. I am very curious. I know I need to pull it up soon, especially since it's just spread its seeds everywhere, but it was pretty. Here is my water gauge that I got. I really haven't checked it much, and it's on a bit of a tilt. So I need to kind of fix that, but it's nice, it's lovely. It's got a little fairy, it lights up at night. This is my 2-year-old mugwort plant. It dies back and then comes back bigger than ever. We kind of have this mess going on right here, but I hope to address this soon. Buckets and cages. Buckets and cages. Now I have this little area here. I have some chocolate mint right here that I just replanted. It's perking up and looking like it's gonna make it now. Some lemon balm that came back from last year. We have a dwarf pomegranate tree here. I'm so excited about this. Jay got me this beautiful clematis. And then I have this catnip, which is going crazy, but it has these little black things all over it. It is not happy. I have some dill that volunteered, a couple of rosemary plants because we have to buy rosemary plants every year. Some more lemon balm. Some thyme. We have some thyme. And then over here is some parsley that looked spent, but is coming back. How beautiful is that clematis? So excited. And like I said before, if you have any suggestions or tips or questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys. Love learning too. This here, the little butterfly solar light Jay got for me for Mother's Day with these pretty little crystals he bought to hang off of it. Here we have the table on the back porch area, I guess you could call it, where we're hardening off plants, have plants that are ready to be planted out. These peppers could probably go out into buckets anytime. They've been out here for a few days. Now I have this little area here that has some daisies that Jay got for me. Some variegated yellow thyme, super excited about that. Some spicy oregano. This, oh, what are they called? Words, Christmas, the poinsettia that my boss gave me a couple years ago. And then there is a petunia. And then down here I have some onion chives. Yay! Here in these two green buckets we have our lime trees that are hardening off. We want to put them out front by the arch, but we want to make sure that they are good and healthy and hardened off before we do that. We'll probably move them more in the sun. Jay has got some of his pepper plants planted out. We did have to cover them a couple of nights because it got damn pretty cold, but they seem to be doing okay. We still have a lot more to plant. You can see here we still have a lot more buckets that need to be planted, even though I think Jay was saying that we have more plants than buckets, which always seems to be our thing, but we'll figure out a place for them. This is one of the places where I spread wine cap spores last year. Now these I know are not wine cap mushrooms. They don't have the crown. The wine caps will have a little crown on the stem and they're not that color. If anybody knows what kind of mushrooms they are, please let me know. They are beautiful. I'm just happy to have mushrooms in my garden. Now this walkway here is another area that needs a lot of work. Lots more buckets that need to be planted with the peppers in them. Now, I was curious about these plants in here that popped up in the buckets. Some would call them a weed. I did some research and it appears that they are wild lettuce, which is a very medicinal plant, and it's recommended that you don't harvest them until they go to seed. Kind of hoping they go to seed before Jay gets the peppers planted over here. But I did harvest some because I figure some medicinal properties are better than no medicinal properties. So I harvested some, dehydrated it, and plan on using it for a tea. I guess it's mainly used for pain, like a painkiller. So I recommend doing some research on that, especially if you have some of this growing in your yard. Now this bed here, we have never really done anything with. Last year we planted a couple of blueberries, and then I came through and pulled out some weeds, and I had thought that the blueberries had passed, but if you look down here, you can see it's still hanging on. And then there is another blueberry plant still hanging on. So that is wonderful news. And these irises, though they are beautiful, they are almost at the end of their run. And I believe we are going to be digging up the bulbs and either giving them away or maybe replanting them to the north side of the house. See if they can thrive there. Now this bed here has more of the hardy hibiscus. Just got a rose bush. I just love those colors. I hope it does okay. Any tips you have on roses or rose bushes, leave them in the comments below. All about learning new stuff about the roses. Another hibiscus. This guy is a monster this year. Look at that. And then down here, I believe we have, are they petunias? And there's some thyme in between them. We need to come back in and weed this bed again. It's starting to get a little grassy. This bed here has some more of the hardy hibiscus. Oh, hardy hibiscus here. There, strawberries. Big and beautiful. Love that. We have struggled with strawberries. Here is our tangle of hoses. And then this guy right here, Jay's grandma gave us this lilac bush. And it's got a little bit of greenage on there. So we will see if it comes back from the dead. This bed here has all kinds of stuff. We've got some strawberries that are getting big and beautiful. We've got this thing, I can never ever remember the name. My friend gave this to me and it is amazing. Didn't know it was a perennial, but it comes back bigger and better every year. It's just beautiful. Look at this plant. The leaves are edible. We put them in salads, juice them. It's always one of the first things to turn green in the spring. It is just beautiful. Look at those leaves. It's amazing. We also have all this sage, which this year, I planted it last year. I think I had 6 plants. And all of them are just thriving and they are beautiful. And they smell amazing. And then I've got the thyme over here, which is just one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. Planted a few basil plants. There's a little nasturtium kind of hanging on in the back. Basil plants. I think I'm going to try my coxcombs here again this year because they did good last year. So we will see. I might just spread the seeds, see what happens. Here is the arch trellis. I have planted a bunch of beautiful beans and some long squashes along the side. They should be popping up soon. Now, the problem that we have had so far is the rabbits eating the brand new little sprouts. So we're still masterminding on how to solve that issue. Here in these pots, we have our fig trees. We moved them outside. We had hardened them off in the backyard, but I guess they don't get as much sun here. And they definitely got some sunburn going on. These poor leaves. But we have new growth. So I think they will overcome. And if you look at this guy here even has some fruits on them. Something super interesting about fig trees is that they have to be pollinated by a wasp. You cannot grow the fig trees inside and expect edible fruits. They have to be pollinated by a wasp, all fig trees. Super is interesting. Here on the arch trellis, can you see the beans? See the baby beans? They are coming up. That's exciting. And then this guy here, oh, I just noticed him. That looks like a little tomato plant. Interesting place for him to grow. We got a little tomato guy. And then there's some more beans here by the trellis. Can you see them? Yay! Now I know these down here are red Chinese noodle beans and Thai noodle beans. Beautiful when they're hanging on a trellis. I'm super excited about that. Something else I was going to talk to you about. Me and Jay equally enjoy the garden, and we are equally as excited about our own plants as someone can be. He is more about the peppers. I am more about the tomatoes. He is more about the zucchini and the squash. I am more about the beans. So what we have done is in the front yard we have 6 trellises, and we have decided that each one of us gets to plant 3 of the trellises with what we want to grow. Good compromise on the sharing of space. And then I also have a lot of the early planted things. Some baby bok choy is what comes to mind because it's right here by my feet. And it has already flowered. I am trying to decide if I want to let it go to seed and save the seeds from that, or if I will pull it out and plant something else there. I think I'm just going to plant what I need to plant and use the space that I've got before that, and then decide when the time comes. Decisions are hard. Now here on the trellis you can see where some of the plants that Jay planted are popping up, and the rabbits have not founded them. That's awesome. This little bed here I weeded. I have some cosmos growing around the edge. You can't really see them right now because the weeds. And then I have borage there in the middle. And then I planted a bunch of poppy seeds, and I'm hoping that that's what these little wispy things are some poppies. I've never had luck with poppies. Over here you can't tell, but I had weeded. And I had planted sunflowers here. And those rascally rabbits came and ate all of my sunflower starts. So I think I'm just gonna come and plant 100 sunflower starts. Hopefully they won't eat them all. And this guy here is like a petrified mushroom we found cleaning up this spring. So cool. Now this part here I have not weeded yet or planted, but we have some lettuce growing here. I had weeded there and planted, only a few came up. We've got some lettuce there. There are some peas growing here, but they're being kind of drowned out by the lettuce. I think I need to make a salad soon. Look at this. Make a pretty salad. Maybe we'll have salad tonight. Now over here we have this wispy kale from M.I. Gardener. It's doing good. We have some carrots. Oh, looks like, do you see this down here? Looks like the rabbits found the carrots. And then I have some radishes back there. And the rabbits also found the radishes on the other side, but left me 3 that were delicious. Here is the baby bok choy I was telling you about. And then I cannot remember what this is. I will have to look back and find out what it is, but we've already used it in lettuces. It is beautiful. Look at that. So pretty. And I believe there's some beets here too. Need to weed. Need to spend a long time weeding. This is a little mailbox planter we have in front of our house. I put in some nasturtiums, some petunias, a little thyme and chives, and sweet potato vines. Hopefully they'll drape down and make it look all beautiful. Down at the bottom I planted a couple of morning glories, so hopefully those will climb up while the sweet potato vines drape down. This here is our bush melons or bush squash and like zucchinis, patty pans, all those things. And they are doing really good, getting big. Jay says he's going to come out here and wrap aluminum foil around the base, hopefully to prevent vine borers. We always have an issue with vine borers. As you can tell, it is a beautiful day and I should really get out in my garden because as you've seen, there's still lots of work left to be done. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I love your guts.